Happy Friday morning to everybody. Hope your Independence Day weekend, July 4th weekend, whatever you want to call it, is off to a good start, and hope you're staying cool. It's supposed to be record heat here in the mid-Atlantic today and tomorrow, so good day to stay inside in the air condition and roll Strat-O-Matic. Sounds like a plan to me. All right, we're in the final game, and this is the rare occurrence where the replay date and the actual date coincide. July 3rd, 1987, being played here July 3rd, 2026. Good morning to you, Brown, and good morning to you, Ben. And Ben, thank you very much again. Appreciate the generosity there and the thoughtfulness behind that. Really do appreciate it. All right, Seattle and Detroit from the Kingdome in Seattle, which is very homer friendly. 1-17 for home runs, both sides of the plate. 1-5 for singles, both sides of the plate. This is game number 546 on the replay. Starting pitchers for today's game: Jeff Robinson for the Tigers and Mike Moore for the Mariners. We'll look at Robinson the bottom half of the first. Concentrate now on Mike Moore. Let's look at Mike Moore's numbers. That is true, Ben. I do have my coffee sitting right here with me. All right, Mike Moore on the 87 season was 9-19 with a 4.71 ERA. That was in the real season. On the replay, he is 5-9 with a 4.12 ERA, 107 innings pitched, 122 hits, 31 walks, 53 strikeouts. Detroit comes to the game 40-35. Seattle comes in 34-44. As far as holding runners, Mike Moore is a -4 hold, very good. But the catcher, Scott Bradley, is a +2, so it only gets him a -2, a -2 on holding runners. His balk and wild pitch are 3 apiece. So while he finishes up the warm-up tosses, Lou Whitaker is ready to stand in. And Lou Whitaker on the replay is hitting .287, 17 homers, 55 driven in. He hit .265 real world. Hello, Chuck, and good morning, Barbara. And of course, before the first pitch is thrown, we have the ceremonial first sip, which is tradition on the channel for morning games. And that is some good coffee. And Chuck, we will have, since you're a Tiger fan, tomorrow for the NBC Game of the Week. The game on the schedule is coming from Tiger Stadium, 1979 Fall Classic Baseball. It's the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Detroit Tigers. That is the NBC Game of the Week for July the 4th. All right, Lou Whitaker going to lead things off here against Mike Moore. That's a 5-8, and that's a fly ball to center field, hauled in by Moses, and we're underway. That'll take us to the number 2 hitter, designated hitter Bill Madlock. Madlock hitting .268 on the replay, 3 homers, 9 driven in. He had .279 real world. That is a .210 for Madlock, and that's a home run. 1-16 for Bill Madlock. 17-20, he'll take a double. That is a home run for Bill Madlock. Gets the Tigers on the board in a hurry. Madlock, a nice acquisition from the Dodgers. I'm not sure if it was. I think the Dodgers actually released him, and the Tigers picked him up. I'm not sure if it was a trade or whether it was a release. I didn't really look it up. Madlock, with only home run number 4 on the replay, had 14 real world. RBI number 10 for him on the season, and the Tigers lead it 1-0. Here's Kirk Gibson. Gibson on the replay is hitting .324, 13 homers, 41 driven in. He hit .277 real world. 6-8, and that's more trouble for Moore. 1-12 is a double, 13-20 is a single. That'll be a double for Kirk Gibson. Tigers came out with their hitting shoes on right away. Here's the league's leading hitter, Alan Trammell. He's hitting .414 on the replay. 15 homers, 58 driven in. He hit 343 real world. Moore's got to settle down. 3-2 for Trammell. He'll ground to short. And Gibson will have to hold on the ground ball B. So 2 away. And now a clutch situation for catcher Matt Noakes. Noakes on the replay is hitting 326, 21 homers, 64 driven in. He hit 289 real season. 1-6 for Noakes, and that's a 1-10 home run. Would be a 2-run shot. 11-20 is just a deep fly to right. And that's gone. Matt Noakes connects with a 2-run home run. It is 3-0 Tigers here in the first. They are taking it to Matt Moore. For Noakes, that's home run number 22 on the replay. He had 32 real world. RBI 65 and 66. Tigers in the lead 3-0. And Pat Sheridan now up at the plate. That's a 1-7 for Sheridan, and he strikes out to end the inning. But damage done. 3 runs come in the first inning off of Mike Moore. Tigers lead it 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the first. And right-hander Jeff Robinson on the mound for the Tigers. He gets to enjoy a 3-0 lead before throwing a single pitch in the ball game. Jeff Robinson, 9-6 with a 5.37 ERA. If I can get it to show up, there we go. 9-6, 5.37 ERA for Jeff Robinson. That's on the real season. On the replay, Jeff Robinson is 4-3 with a 4.52 earned run average, 74 innings pitched, 84 hits, 21 walks, 60 strikeouts. He has split time between the bullpen and the rotation, depending on what the Tigers need. Robinson is a -1 hold. Noakes is a +1 arm, so a net 0 for the hold. Robinson's a wild pitch of 6, a balk of 9. And coming out for Seattle to try to get them going is going to be John Moses, the center fielder. Moses is hitting 245 on the replay, 3 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 246 real world. That's a 111, and that's a strikeout for Robinson right off the bat. Strikes out John Moses. 1 away for Phil Bradley, left fielder. Bradley's kind of the Joe Carter of the Mariners. He's hitting only 232 on the replay, 9 homers, 32 driven in. He hit 297 real world. Every team has one underperformer, it seems, and they've been dubbed by me to be the Joe Carter of that team. As Joe Carter is the poster child for underperforming. 2-2, ground ball to short. Trammell's got it, 2 down. Struggles continue for Phil Bradley. And that takes us to Scott Bradley, the catcher. Scott Bradley hitting 290 on the replay, 2 homers, 35 driven in. He hit 278 real world. That is a 1-8 for Bradley, and that's going to be a double 1-3, 4-20 for a single. And that's a 2-out single for catcher Scott Bradley. He's no threat to run. Brings up first baseman Alvin Davis. Davis hitting 280 on the replay, 14 homers, 43 driven in. He hit 295 real world. 3-5 for Davis, and that's going to be a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a double. It's going to center field since it's not listed. It's assumed to go to center field. That'll be a double. Don't know if Scott Bradley can score or not. We will find out. He runs at a 10. There are 2 outs, makes him a 12. Not being held makes him a 13. Lemons is a -1 arm for a 12. 1-12, 60% chance to score him. Or you can hold him up with 2 outs and hope Presley gets a base hit. But I don't think it's a 60% chance that Presley's going to reach base. So I think your better odds are to go ahead and send him and take your chances. So again, Bradley's a 10. Not being held is an 11. 2 outs is a 13. And then a -1 from Lemons, a 12. So 1-12, he scores. And he's out at the plate. So Chet Lemon, nice relay to Trammell to throw him out, but I think they just had to go for it there. You can't depend on Presley to get a hit. When you have a 60% chance to score a run, I think you need to take it. Devil Die just came up with the wrong number there, that's all. So nice relay there from Trammell as Lemon got it in quickly. Trammell got it to Noakes. Noakes blocked the plate, applied the tag, and prevents the run from scoring. So at the end of one, it's Detroit 3 and Seattle nothing. Top of the second we go, and it's first baseman Darrell Evans that will get the call. Evans hitting .267 on the replay, 17 homers, 46 driven in. He had .257 real world. 1-6 for Evans, and that's a fly to center. One away. That'll bring up Chet Lemon. Lemon on the replay, hitting .238. 5 homers, 21 driven in. He had .277 real world. That is a 5-5, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field, 2 down. For the number 9 hitter, Tom Brookins. Brookins on the replay is hitting .227, 4 homers, 23 driven in. He had .241 real world. 5-7. Solid single for Tom Brookins. Brookins will try to get the lead, see if he can get in scoring position. Needs a 6 or a 7. Doesn't get the lead, so he'll hold. And that'll send up Lou Whitaker again. Whitaker flew to center his first chance. 3-2 for Whitaker. That's a single. There's an anti-clutch, but the runner is not in scoring position. So ironically, had Brookins stolen the base successfully, this would have turned into an out. But as he did not, it's a single, 2 stars. And so sometimes maybe it's better not to get that lead. Maybe it helps you up a little bit better. Lou Whitaker gets the single. 2 base advancement. Runners at the corners. 2 outs for Bill Madlock. And now Whitaker is going to try for the lead. Needs a 4 or a 5. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold, and it'll be up to Bill Madlock, who homered his first time up. He'll be stepping up. And that is a 3-4 for Madlock. He pops it up to third, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the second. Still 3-0. And as I was playing the inning there, I saw the chat about the trivia question. I just didn't have time to chime in, but glad someone was able to answer that about Andre Dawson. Probably, if not the worst, probably one of the worst MVP selections of all time. I mean, how can you be an MVP on a last place team? That's ridiculous how they do that. They could have finished last place without him. So 87 MVP National League should have gone to Jack Clark. He's the one that carried the Cardinals all the way to the World Series. That's why I shake my head at some of these MVP and Hall of Fame votings and stuff like that. But, you know, hey, people are enamored with the home runs, and I'm sure the fact that he played for the Cubs on WGN every day didn't hurt his cause either. I think if he had that kind of year and was in Montreal, Jack Clark would have won it. But I think him being on the Cubs, I probably gave it to him. So here's Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. He will lead off, hitting .211, 13 homers, 49 driven in. He at .247 real world. 1-8, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Jeff Robinson. Off to a good start, if you are Robinson. Here's Ken Phelps, the big guy, DH, hitting .270, 16 homers, 42 driven in. He at .259 real world. If anybody was designed to be a DH, it was definitely Ken Phelps. He's like the left-handed Dave Kingman, but he can play first base, but not very well. 5-10. Ground ball third base X. We're looking at Brookins. He is a 3 E21. So the first X check of the game, 3 E21. 3 and an 8 is going to be a G3, so that's no problem. Let's see, his error ratings of 21 at third base, so he's got to avoid 6, 11, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 14, so I think he's okay with that. E21, there's a 15, but no 14. So Brookins does make the play. Wasn't pretty, but he made it. And there's 2 away. He wasn't expecting Phelps to go opposite field like that. So, but he does recover to make the play. Good morning, Dick Clark, man. Here is Mickey Brantley, right fielder, hitting 277 on the replay. 6 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 302 real world. And that is a 110. Let's pop up to Trammell, and that'll do it. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Jeff Robinson. We go to the third, still 3-0 Tigers. Heart of the order coming up, Gibson, Trammell, and Noakes. For Sparky's bunch. Gibson doubled and scored his first time up. 3-6 for Gibby, and he strikes out this time. Second strikeout for Mike Moore. 1 away for Alan Trammell. Grounded to short his first time up. 5-7, and that's a base hit. Continues his league-leading hitting ways. Trammell with the 1-out single. He's going to look to get the lead. He needs a 5. Doesn't get it. He will not go anywhere. Here's Matt Noakes. Homered his first time up. 110 for Noakes. He's got a chance to do it again. Ballpark blast, and it's a 1-17. So very good chance that Matt Noakes will hit home run number 2 here. And he does. It's another 2-run home run, or another 2-run home run. His first one was a 2-run home run. Second one's a 2-run home run. Home run number 23 for Noakes. On the replay, his 23rd home run, his RBI 67 and 68. And the Tigers blowing this thing open right now, 5-0. Taking Mike Moore to the woodshed, as they say, metaphorically. Here's Pat Sheridan, 4-3, and that's a walk. And for Moore, that is his first walk. Sheridan has a chance to get a lead. Tigers looking to pour it on. Needs a 2 through 7 or a 10. That's a 5. He gets the lead. He's a 15, being held as a 13. -2 is an 11. 55% chance, but hey, you got a 5-0 lead, so who cares? And he got caught stealing, but that's okay. They got a big lead, so they're not worried about it. Darrell Evans, the batter. 2 outs, base is clear now. It's a 3-3 for Evans, and that's a ground ball to first. And that will take care of business. But the 2-run home run from Noakes takes care of business, and the Tigers lead at 5-0, going to the bottom of the third and giving Jeff Robinson all the run support you would think he would need. Shortstop Ray Quinones leads off for the Mariners. Quinones on the replay, hitting 243, 5 homers, 26 driven in. He at 276 real world. 210 is going to be a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to short for 1 away. Brings up Harold Reynolds. Reynolds hitting 301 on the replay. No homers, 20 driven in. He at 275 real world. 6-12 switch hitters. A fly ball right field X. Right fielder is Sheridan. He's a 2. 2-11, he'll get to that. Check out his error chances. He is an E9. So 11, 16, and 18, basically, the 3 numbers, 11, 16, and 18. And he definitely avoids that, makes the play. 2 down. 2 outs for back to the top of the order, and John Moses. 1-7 for Moses, and he strikes out again. Second time he's gone down on strikes, and another 1-2-3 innings, 6 in a row, retired by Robinson. We go to the fourth. Tigers comfortably in front, 5-0, you would think. And Chet Lemon will lead things off. Here is Chet Lemon. That's a 1-6. That's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Mike Moore. That'll send up Tom Brookins. 5-10, and that's going to be a fly to center field X. John Moses is a 2E5. 2 and a 6, he'll get to that. E5 in center. The only problem with an E5 in center is 4, 16, 17, and 18. And no problem for Mr. Moses. 2 away and back to the top of the order for Lou Whitaker. Whitaker is singled and flown to center, but it's a good nod for your team if your leadoff man is having his 3rd at bat in the 4th inning. That means you're doing pretty well. 3-9 for Whitaker, and that's a single to center field, so Whitaker's 2 for 3. And he's looking to get a lead. Oh, wrong dice. Hold on. He needs a 4 or 5. Doesn't get the lead. Okay, here's Bill Madlock. 6-7 for Madlock. Ground ball second base X. Now they were holding on Whitaker, so that means the second baseman Reynolds is responsible with a right-hander up, so he will drop to a 3E21. See if it makes a difference. 3 and 11 might not make a difference. 2 and 11 versus 3. 2-11 is a G1, 3-11 is G2, but it's the 3rd out of the inning, so it doesn't matter anyway. E21, second base, he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. 5, it's one of those not so rare plays, so it's just going to be a ground out to end the inning. So that will take care of the Tigers. You're in the top of the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th, it's still a 5-0 Tiger lead. And due up for Seattle, it will be both Bradleys, followed by Alvin Davis. Jeff Robinson had a little hiccup in the 1st, but he's been good since, no question about it. 3-8 is going to be a 1-7 single. Anything else he lines to Trammell. And that's a liner snagged by Trammell, 1 away. They get the first Bradley. Now they go to the second Bradley. He singled and was thrown out trying to score on a double. 5-7, that's a single. 1-8, 9-20. He lines it to Whitaker. And he lines it to Whitaker. So the D20 roll's definitely going in the Tigers' favor. That could have easily been 2 hits there, but when it's going your way, it's going your way. Here's Davis. He had that double first time up. 5-8. Same roll we just had. 1-2. Well, not the same roll. It's one below that. 1 or 2 is a single. Anything else he lines to Whitaker. And that's a liner to Whitaker. So D20 rolls came up all in the Tigers' favor. 9 in a row retired by Jeff Robinson. Tigers cruising 5-0. Although with Jeff Robinson on the mound, I'm not sure if cruising is the right word for it. Cautiously cruising, maybe, because you never know when he's going to implode. Mike Moore back out. And Moore will be facing Gibson, Trammell, and Noakes. Again, the heart of the order. 4-7, and that's a 1-11 single. 12-20 is a line out. And now see the split chances are going in the Tigers' favor for the offense now. When they were in the field, they were getting the high rolls for the defense. Now that they're batting, they're getting the low rolls for the offense. It's just the way it works. Sometimes the D20 just favors one team. Gibby looking to get a lead. Needs a 5 or a 6. And he gets the lead. He's going to go 19 being held to 17. -2 is a 17. 75% chance on a 1-17. Well, actually, it's an 85% chance, isn't it? Let's see, 1-17. I think it's an 85% chance. Either way, 1-17. And he's in there. Stolen base for Kirk Gibson. So Gibby steals second base. And let's see what that is for Gibson as far as stolen bases. Think of his power, but he can run too. And when his knees aren't bad, he can run. On the 87 season, he stole 26 bases, got caught only 7 times, but this was only his 5th steal. He's been caught once. So he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to run. Primarily, I think, because people were on base in front of him, but got the chance there and he took advantage of it. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. It is a pass ball chance on Bradley, which is only a 1. So there's no pass ball there. So here's the pitch to Trammell. 2-6 to Trammell, and that's a single, 2 stars. There's an anti-clutch, but there's nobody out, so the single is good. RBI single from Alan Trammell. Continues his hot hitting. It's now 6-0 Tigers. RBI number 59 for Trammell. And now the Mariner bullpen starting to stir, as Mike Moore is just definitely has not had it today. Trammell. Sparky says, let's pour it on. Needs a 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, so let Matt Noakes, who's had 2 home runs in this game, step to the plate. 2-10, and another ballpark blast. Noakes is going to try for home run number 3. 2-10, 1-17 will do it. And it's gone. 3rd home run of the game for Matt Noakes, and that's going to be it for Mike Moore. Matt Noakes abuses Mike Moore with his 24th home run of the season, 3rd of the game. RBIs 69 and 70 on the replay. And the Tigers lead it 8-0. And so long for Mike Moore. He goes 4+. Tigers definitely brought on their hitting shoes in this one. Moore is going to give up 11 hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. 4 long balls, courtesy of the Kingdom. Let's see, he walked 1 and he struck out 3. Now, who's going to draw the short straw out of the bullpen is the question. Well, who can give them some long relief, and who needs the work? That's a couple of things to answer here. Let's see on the Mariners who it is that they can afford to give some work to. It is going to be Roy Thomas. Don't know much about Roy Thomas. In fact, I don't think I know anything about Roy Thomas. But anyway, Roy Thomas was not carded by Strat because he only pitched 21 innings real world. He was 1-0 with a 5.23 ERA, though. His job is just to toss some innings and get the heck out of Dodge and get ready for the next game. So the fireworks starting early here in the Kingdom. +5 makes him a +5. Although I think now with an 8-0 lead, I think Sparky's going to call off the Dogs here at this point and not have them try to do any more stealing. So here's Pat Sheridan. He will take over. Thomas on the replay is 0-0 with a 7.94 ERA. 6 innings pitched, 11 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Good morning, Mr. RN. Good to see you. And good morning, Andrew. I have never had I don't think I've ever had a 3 home run game. This might be a record for me, a 3 home run game. Had a cycle, no hitter in this replay recently. Haven't had 4 home runs. But Mike Moore's out of the game, so I think Matt Noakes is probably going to be disappointed that he won't get to face Mike Moore again. It was like a batting practice pitcher for him. But being the visiting team and getting to bat all 9 innings is a good bet that Noakes might get 2 more bats to try to get that 4th home run. Here's Sheridan, 6'4". That's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Moses. That's a 18, so a 2 and 18 is going to get to that. E5 in center field. Only a couple of error chances, and they are 16, 17, and 18. Got to avoid those. And he does. So he makes the play, and the first out is finally recorded here in the 4th inning, or 5th inning, rather. So we go to Darrell Evans. 6'6", and that's a walk. Evans will walk. Here's Chet Lemon. 5-7 pops him up to short, 2 down. So 2 away. And that will send up number 9 hitter Tom Brookins. We get a 1-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short to end the inning. But 3 runs come in for the Tigers, and they now lead it 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th, and that might be enough runs for Jeff Robinson to actually win a game. Very possible. This is the fatigue inning for Jeff Robinson, though, so he has to at least go 5 innings to get qualified for the win. And he will be facing the hound dog, Jim Presley. Not many Mariner fans are stuck around, though, as I think they see the handwriting on the wall. 4-7, and that's a 1-19 single, so almost a guaranteed single here for Presley. And it is. Leadoff single for Presley. 1 away for Ken Phelps, designated hitter. 1-5 for Phelps. He hit him. So he gets plunked. Sure, that was not intentional. You would think if there was any intentional hit by pitches, it would be the other way around. The team losing 8-0 would throw at somebody. I don't think Robinson's throwing at anybody. But quickly, 2 runners are on, so if he gets another runner on, he'll reach fatigue. And they really want him to at least get the 5 innings so he can qualify for the win. That's a 1. Robinson's wild pitch rating is a 6. Does not throw a wild pitch. Here's Mickey Brantley. 6-7 for Brantley, and that's a ground ball second base X. Whitaker has a chance now. 2E20. Maybe turn that Giovanni's double play. Well, not with a 2 and a 6, though. He'll be lucky to get a force play on the 2 and a 6. So a 2 and a 6 is going to be a G2. He wasn't responsible for holding anybody, so pound's irrelevant. And E20 at second base, 13, 17, and 18. Got to avoid those numbers. And he does. So it's going to be a 4-6 fielder's choice. They get Phelps at second. Going to third is Presley. Brantley is the new runner at first. And Ray Quinones steps to the plate. Infield looking for that double play to get out of the inning without any runs scored. 1-12, and that's a walk. So now Robinson has reached fatigue. But they got an 8-run lead to see about. Computer is telling me he's not reached fatigue, which doesn't make any sense. To me, it should be fatigue. He's got 3 base runners in his fatigue inning, but not sure what's going on with that, but I'm counting them as being fatigued. Here's Harold Reynolds. Whoa, that one die got stuck up there. 5-7. It's a 1-8 single. 9-20. He lines out to Whitaker. And that's the way it's been going for the Mariners. They'll be getting those high rolls. It is a liner up to Whitaker. 2 down. And that'll take us to the top of the order and John Moses. And by definition, it's still a clutch situation. So in the clutch, he loses a hit on 2-9. So even though it's 8-0, it's still technically a hit by pitch doesn't count in the rules. Is that what that's why it's saying that? I don't know why it wouldn't. That's the same as a walk to me. Say 4-8, but what do I know? 4-8, that's a strikeout with a dot. Now, see, that would normally be an out, but in my world, it's a strikeout. But I'm perplexed because the computer says he's not tired, because apparently the computer does not count HBPs. So let me check the rule book here. I don't want to. Probably should have looked at this before it came up, but let me go back and look at the rules on this fatigue thing for pitchers. and see if it gives me any pitcher endurance. Let's see here. We got Super Advanced Pitcher Endurance. It's on page 12 of the rule book. Let's see here. Come on, does it give me anything? Trying to see if it talks about hit by pitches or whatever. Okay, it says it right here. All right, I'll follow the rule book. Intentional walks, batters hit by pitch, and errors do not contribute to pitcher's POW, point of weakness. So there you go. Thank you, Ben. Rule 27.3, actually at the very bottom of the page in paragraph B. Intentional walks, batters hit by pitch, or errors do not contribute. So it will be a good strikeout for Robinson. It will not be a fatigue strikeout. It will be a good strikeout on the 4-8. So he gets the strikeout, and Moses now gets the hat trick on top of it. And that's going to end the inning. The Mariners will leave them loaded. So Robinson actually will, with an 8-0 lead, he'll come back and pitch, start to pitch the 6th inning as well. So Dick Williams protesting, but the protest is overruled by the rule book. So I'm playing it by the rules. Although I agree with you, Barbara. In the spirit of baseball, to me, it should count, but the rules say it don't. So the rules say it don't. The rules say it don't. All right, here is Lou Whitaker. He's 2 for 3. 5-8, and that's a ground ball to second base. Harold Reynolds, let's see if he's watched enough baseball tonight to make the play. 16, he does. He gets the range for it. E21, 4, 13, and 17. Got to avoid those errors. And he barely does with a 14. So Lou Whitaker is out, grounding out to Reynolds. So Reynolds apparently didn't lose those fundamentals from being on baseball tonight. Here's Bill Madlock. That's a 6-8. That's ground ball to short, 2 down. And Thomas is just in there strictly to eat some innings. That's the only reason he's in there. Eat some innings and not embarrass himself. Here's Kirk Gibson. 5-5, and that's going to be a walk. 2-out walk to Gibson. With the score 8-0, Sparky's going to call off the Dogs. They're not going to have him try for any kind of lead. Here is Alan Trammell. That's a 4-5, and that's a single to right field. And Alan Trammell's going to third will be Gibson. They're going to give him third base because they don't want Trammell to take second on the overthrow. So Trammell, with his third hit, his batting average continues to climb. It was 416 before that single, so it's probably 417, 418 about now. And here comes the man, Matt Noakes. He gets another at bat. This one's a clutch situation by definition. So he loses a couple of hits here, 2-6 and 2-7 and 3-5 on the clutch. Can he get his 4th home run? Well, if he gets a ballpark blast chance, he just might. 2-6, but he's going to get the anti-clutch. So again, even though it's 8-0, rules are rules, unless I want to do a amending at some point. But I haven't done it yet, so I kind of hate to institute that in the middle of a season. We're going to go by the rules. Technically, this is a anti-clutch hit for Matt Noakes. It's a single, but the Omega symbol's there. So it's going to be a pop-up to second, and that'll end the inning. You can say how clutch can it be when it's 8-0, but that's just what the rules say. 2 outs, runner in scoring position. They don't specify score. They just say 2 outs, runners in scoring position. It's a clutch situation. That's right, Ben. They don't say that. Now, of course, that's something that's easily homebrewed, and you can pick a number like 6 runs or whatever the case may be, or if the the margin of lead exceeds the number of innings remaining, which is kind of what Inside Pitch does on their to drop their strategy rolls. You could say, all right, the 8-run lead with less than 8 innings left, that can be the a homebrew that says we don't use that. But maybe after the All-Star break, maybe I'll institute a couple of home rules, and I don't want to start it right now though. So we're going to keep it by the book right at the moment. So here is Phil Bradley, 3-2, and that's a ground ball to third. But then again, Ben, you make a good point. I mean, who's to say? I mean, was it one time the Phillies got like 9 runs in the 9th inning and won a game? So who's to say that one hit wouldn't be clutch to spur a comeback? So Strat-O-Matic wrote those rules for a reason. So unless it's something that I really think is kooky, I'm going to probably stick with them. Here's Scott Bradley. That is a 2-7. That's a single to right field. Single to right field for Bradley. And now Robinson has reached fatigue, according to the computer. So we'll let him see if he can get through the inning. But if he hits one of those dots, he's got to come out. 4-9, and we just missed a dot. It's a walk instead. So now the Tiger bullpen is stirring down there. Here is the Hound Dog, Presley. 6-11, that's a ballpark blast. This could be it for Jeff Robinson right here. The ballpark blast might do him in. 1-17. If we roll an 18 through 20, then it's just not the Mariners' day. What did I say about rolling an 18 through 20 not being their day? Is there rigging going on here or what? That just doesn't even seem real. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jeff Robinson must be living right. Must have bad pictures of somebody. I don't know. But that's just almost inconceivable. So now here's Ken Phelps. It is a clutch situation for Phelps, and he does gain a hit on 3-10. And that's a good point. The clutch is designed to give people the right RBIs. It's not focusing on score of the game. That's a 6-5, and that's a ground ball to second, and Robinson pitches out of it. We're going to cap him at 6 innings. So Jeff Robinson pitches 6 shutout innings, does it kind of smoke and mirrors fashion, but he does it nonetheless. And actually, then we can incorporate one of the other rules I hate, which is if a pitcher goes 3 innings in relief and finishes the game and his team wins, he gets a save, whether they're ahead by 1 run or 20 runs. It still counts as a save. I mean, what are you saving if you've got an 8-0 lead? It doesn't seem like that big of a save to me. So we'll go to the Tiger bullpen in the bottom of the 7th, see who's got the most rest. They got 2 pitchers, Eric King and Mike Henneman, both have fatigue factors of 3, and they could earn a very, very cheap save, as they say. All right, Thomas is out to start the top of the 7th. He'll be facing Sheridan, Evans, and Lemon. Hello, Dr. D, in case I did not say something to you earlier. Here is, I got to finish off the at-bat for Phelps so I can move on in the computer to the next inning. Phelps, wait a minute, was that only 2 outs? That's not 2 outs. The heck? Something's not lined up on my computer here. Presley. All right, something's not kosher here on the computer. Let me see what's going on here. I must have forgot to input something. Let me check what the game log says. Good thing computer is there and has the undo button. So let me go back and review what I've done here in the bottom of the 6th. All right, we had a single from Bradley. Oh, that's the problem. I didn't put the ground ball to third in for Phil Bradley. So I got to go back and, because the computer thinks it's only 2 outs now. So I need to go back in and click about 4 undos and restart the inning on the computer. This won't take but a minute. Fortunately, the undo button is a lifesaver in this situation. So we go to Phil Bradley for his at bat, and we start the bottom of the 6th all over again on the computer, and Phil Bradley grounds to third. Then Scott Bradley singles. Davis walks. And then we have Presley flying to left. And Phelps grounding out to second. And that should get us back where we need to be. Yep, now we're back. Pat Sheridan is batting. All right, so no, what I did, Ben, is I forgot to put in the 5-3 for Bradley on the computer. I put in the single that Scott Bradley got in for Phil Bradley, so the computer was 1 batter behind, thinking there was only 2 outs. So anyway, we're back in where we need to be, and here's Sheridan, 4-5, and that's a solid double for Pat Sheridan. Start the 7th inning. For the Tigers, that is now their 13th hit. Here's Darrell Evans. That's a 2-7 for Evans, and that's a strikeout. That's the first strikeout for Thomas. One away. And since there is no Rockies game again tonight because of the scheduling, I will have a special 1987 primetime game tonight at 8 o'clock. It'll be the last game from July 3rd. It'll be the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland Athletics. That'll be tonight, roughly around 8:30-ish or so, maybe 9, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that will be something, since I'm not doing a Rockies game. They don't start again till tomorrow night. So here's Chet Lemon. 2-9 for Lemon. He grounds to short. That'll hold Sheridan at second base. So if you want your July 4th hot dog early, you can watch Hot Dog Jackson tonight. Two down, and again, clutch situation for Tom Brookins. 3-10 for Brookins. He will walk. Second walk issued by Thomas. That's going to put runners at first and second for Lou Whitaker. Clutch situation for Whitaker. That's a 1. And we have his wild pitch on here already. It is a 19. So we have the wild pitch from Thomas. Puts runners on second and third now on that wild pitch. Whitaker. 4-6, and that's a solid double to right field, a 2-run double for Whitaker. That's going to make it 10-0 Tigers. 2-run double for Whitaker. RBIs 56 and 57, rather. Thomas is now tired, but they want to get him through the inning. Here's Bill Madlock. 3-10 from Madlock, and that's a ground ball to third to end the inning. So about the only drama left in this game is coming up in the 8th inning when Notes gets his last at bat. See if he can get a 4th home run. Not likely, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. I discount nothing. When dice are involved, things get weird. All right, we go to the Tiger bullpen. See if we can find a fresh arm that can go 3 innings. Well, they're showing Henneman. Yeah, we're going to use Mike Henneman out of the bullpen. If he goes all 3 innings, he will get the save despite it being a 10-0 ball game. Mike Henneman. I don't know how well this will show up on the video here, but there's a slight little, looks like a little coffee stain maybe have gotten in on Mike Henneman there at some point. That's what that little, looks like that's what that little thing there is. Maybe a little spot of coffee got on him somehow. Imagine that. Henneman 11-3, 2.98 ERA. And on the real season, to go along with that, he had 7 saves. On the replay, 3-4, 4 saves, but a not so good ERA of 5.33. 27 innings pitched, 41 hits, 4 walks, 17 strikeouts. So Sparky looking to get Henneman some confidence. Maybe giving him a cheap save will do it. Find out. Jeff Robinson goes the 6 innings. 3 innings for Thomas. And we got another spam call or something coming in, so we'll get rid of him. All right, so Robinson goes 6 innings, 2, 3, 4 hits he allowed, no runs, walking 2, and striking out 4. And of course, he would improve to 5-3. Mike Moore will drop to 5-10. Thomas, let's save me the math here. Let's go to the computer just to verify that I'm not messing something up. Thomas is going to go 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. And 3 walks and a strikeout. So now we're all set for the bottom of the 7th. Mickey Brantley, the batter, against Mike Henneman. If Henneman goes the 3 innings and gets in, and the Tigers obviously don't lose the lead, which would be the case if he's 3 innings, they're not losing the lead. If he pitches and finishes the game, he will get his 5th save of the season. Hello, Bob. Good to see you. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Here's Brantley, 6'11". That's a ground ball first base X. Let me see. I think I might need to pull this back just a little bit. There we go. So 6'11" is a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Evans. Evans is a 4E5. 420, no problem. E5. E5, he's got to avoid 15 and 17, which he does. So he will get it. Flip to Henneman covering, and there's one away. That'll bring up Ray Quinones. 2-7 for Quinones, and that's a solid single. So 1 on, 1 out for Harold Reynolds. That's a 4-6, and that's a 1-13 double. 14-20 is a single. That's a single, 2 stars, puts runners on the corners. So Henneman not quite up to snuff yet. If he wants to hang around for all 3 innings, he's got to pitch better than this. I mean, I had Quinones up there. Did I? It was a 4-6. It was Reynolds at bat, so it was off Henneman's card. So not sure why I didn't move the players over, but whatever. It all worked out the same. Here's John Moses. 3-6 for Moses. That's a ground ball shortstop A. That's going to be a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Tailor-made double play, and it keeps the shutout intact and gets Henneman off the hook. 6-4-3 double play. Look at it again on the close-up. 3-6 for John Moses against the right-hander is that ground ball shortstop A. The plus is irrelevant in this case. So it will be a Giovanni's Taylor shot, tailor-made double play, 6-4-3 to end the inning. Giovanni's Taylor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area and you have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. They will give you a discount if you tell them that Demo sent you. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. So that keeps the shutout going. And we head to the top of the 8th, where the Mariners will need a new pitcher. And they got to draw short straws for this. And let's see who they're going to go to. Looks like they're going to go to Stan Clark, a lefty. I mean, they're trying to find the scrubs. I mean, a lot of them are scrubs to begin with, but you don't want to use your main guys. So Clark it is, Stan Clark, a left-hander. And he'll be in to pitch the 8th inning. He does have a relief factor of 2, so he can complete the, not use any more of the bullpen. In fact, if it gets worse, Dick Williams may go to a position player. Might bring in Harold Reynolds to pitch. Who knows? All right, so Stan Clark is going to make his way in. He doesn't look too excited about it, but he is going to make his way in. On the replay, he is 0-1 with an ERA of 10.80. 10 innings pitched, 15 hits, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts. And Kirk Gibson steps to the plate. It is a lefty-lefty matchup, 5-5, and that's a single to center field. Start things off, Gibson with his 3rd hit. Lefty didn't bother him, apparently. And that'll bring up Alan Trammell. He's got 3 hits on the day, all singles. It's a 4-9, and that's an in-home run ballpark chance right here. This could make it even uglier, 1-17. And it's a home run for Alan Trammell. Trammell cracking home run number 16 on the replay. It's now 12-0 Tigers. As we look at it again, the 4-9 was the home run, and on this little, it may not be that easy to see on the stream, I'm not sure. But on this 4-9, there is that little diamond there that says we go to our ballpark home run check, and that's exactly what happens. 2-run home run from Trammell is 12-0. And speaking of home runs, last chance here for Matt Noakes to see what he can do. If he can make history or not. Likelihood is not that great against a lefty, although he does have normal power against lefties, so the ballpark diamond shots are still in play. That is a 1-6 against the lefty. Oh, he just missed a 1-5 would have been a home run chance. He'll have to settle with a single, Matt Noakes. So Noakes will single. And we'll get a pinch hitter for Pat Sheridan. He does not hit lefties very often or very well for that. Now, you know what? They're going to keep Sheridan. He's a good defender. We're not going to take him out. Sheridan's going to stay in there and face the lefty. Why not? We get a 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X. Chance for a double play. Harold Reynolds is a 2. 218 is a G1, so it's potential double play. E21, again, he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. If he does, it's a double play. And he does. So it's another Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play to end the inning. But 2 more come in for the... Actually, that's only 2 outs. My bad. That's only 2 outs. It does not end the inning. There were only 2 outs. For Darrell Evans. Evans, after all this, out of all this hitting, he's still hitless. He's looking for his first hit of the game. 1-2, and he might get it. Ballpark blast on a 1-2. Wow. 1-17, it's gone. It's gone out of here. Home run, Darrell Evans. And for Evans, that is home run number 18 on the replay. He had 34 of them real world, RBI 47. And it is now, with 3 runs coming in, So I got to update this 2 to a 3 because actually I'm not going to fill it until the inning's over. I thought the inning was over there at first. It was not, obviously. Here's Chet Lemon. That is a 6-9. Ground ball to short. Quinones, 3E31. 3 and a 6. I think he's okay with that. 3 and a 6. Yep, G3. E31. He's got to avoid a whole bunch. 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. And it's a 7. He gets by barely, but he does make the play. The inning is mercifully over. 3 runs come in. And in fact, that's going to do it for Clark. He's going to go 1 inning. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 3 runs. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Score 13-0. Henneman going for that 3-inning save. It'll be Phil Bradley to start us off. 1-9 for Bradley, struck him out. Bradley out on strikes. For Scott Bradley, the other Bradley. 6'8" lefty. Fly ball to right field, hauled in by Sheridan, 2 down. And that'll send up Alvin Davis. 5-7. Ground ball second base X, that's Whitaker. 2 and a 19 is good. E20. On an E20, he has to avoid 3, 13, 17, and 18. And 12 he just does. So he makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. So Henneman will carry full endurance into his 3rd inning of work to get that save. And we head to the top of the 9th. It is 13-0. Favor of the Tigers. And Dick Williams going to figure out what he wants to do. It's Brookins, Whitaker, and Matlock due up. We're going to have Domingo Ramos come in and play second base for Reynolds because Reynolds is going to pitch. Harold Reynolds will come in and pitch. He didn't learn this on Baseball Tonight, but maybe gleaned something from being around Dan Plesac long enough. So we'll bring in Harold Reynolds to pitch. And, of course, when you have the pitcher pitching or a position player pitching, there is a card for that in the rule book, and that's what we'll be using on 4, 5, and 6 rolls. We'll be using this card. So top of the 9th, Harold Reynolds will be facing Tom Brookins to start things off. Brookins stepping to the plate. And it's onto the pitcher side. 6-7. 6-7 is going to be a 1-17 single. Let me see if it shows. Make sure I'm showing this correctly. 6-7 is a 1-17 single. 18-20 he lines out. And you know it's going to be a 1-17. And there it was, right on the number. It's just Detroit's day is all I can tell you. So Brookins singles. Lou Whitaker is going to get called back, and Sparky's going to get some of the bench guys in the game. So we're going to have Jim Whalewander pinch hit for Whitaker, and he'll take over at second base in the 9th. So Whalewander going to pinch hit here against Harold Reynolds. Jim Whalewander. I don't know if Reynolds has a good pickoff move or not. 4-9 against the switch hitter batting left. That's a double to center. I'm sorry, over here. 4-9. That's a home run, 1-16. Does he have normal? He's got weak power. No, he's got normal power against right-handers. Weak against left, but normal against right. So 1-16, and he hits a home run. And it's gone. Jim, even When you bring in Jim Whalewater and he hits a pinch hit home run, you know something's going on. It's beginning to turn into a comedy of errors at this point. Tigers. When you bring in Whalewater on the computer and give him that home run. Don't know if he deserved it or not, but he took Harold Reynolds deep. I could probably take Harold Reynolds deep too. So Whalewater hits his second home run of the season. He only had one real world. In 54 at bats, he had one home run. This was his 11th at bat of the season, and he's got 2 home runs already. Go figure. So we'll get a pinch hitter for Madlock as well as they go to clear the bench out a little bit. So Johnny Grubb will get a pinch hitting appearance, get a chance to get an at bat in. Johnny Grubb. So he'll pinch hit for Madlock. Will Mr. Grubb get Grubb's numbers on the replay? And who knows, Matt Noakes might get another at bat. Never can tell. Grubb on the replay is hitting .213. No homers, 12 driven in. And again, it's the same roll, 6-9. We're right back to where we started. No, I'm sorry, 6-9. It's a double. We had 4-9 last time. This time's a double. I wonder how long Dick Williams will stick with this. Kirk Gibson, your scheduled hitter. Did we let Gibson hit? Or do we bring in another outfielder? Let's see here. I guess they'll let Gibson hit. We'll let Gibson hit against Harold Reynolds. It's a 5-3. Again, you bring in a position player to pitch, and every roll comes off the pitcher card. That's just Murphy's Law, I guess. 5-3 is a fly ball center field X, so it's a chance for Moses to make the play. Moses can make the play. He's a 2. 2 and a 15. He'll make that catch. Assuming he doesn't drop it. I don't think he will. E5, and he's a 4, 16, 17, and 18. Got to avoid those numbers. And he does. Makes the catch, 1 away. There's finally an out recorded. Here's Trammell. And again, it's off the pitcher card. 4-7. 4-7's a walk. And here comes Matt Noakes again. One last chance. But is it tainted if he gets his 4th home run off of a position player? Does that make it tainted, is my question. That's what I'm not sure about. Would it make it tainted? So Matt Noakes back out. Every roll, 1, 2, there's been 5 at bats this inning. Every single one of them has come off the pitcher card. We're bound to hit the batter card eventually. Law of averages. And we do finally. 1-7 against the right-hander. He's not going to get the home run. 1-6 would have been a chance, and 1-5 would have been a solid home run. But a 1-7, a 1 for a triple, anything else he flies to center. So he flies to center for out number 2. So Matt Noakes will have to be content with 3 home runs. And that brings up Pat Sheridan. Still technically a clutch situation. That's a 6-3. Going back to the card over here. 6-3 is a ground ball first base C. And that'll finally do it. 2 more runs come in, but he didn't do any worse than the other Mariner pitchers, that's for sure. So Harold Reynolds will go 1 inning. And let's see here. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3 hits, a walk, 2 runs. And I just noticed that I have to do the more undoing in the computer because I forgot to bring Harold Reynolds into pitch. So all these runs are getting charged against Clark, and we don't want that. That will skew the stats. So I need to go back and undo this top of the 9th. So bear with me, please, while I do that, because I do need to See about getting that straight. Taking us all the way back to Brookins at bat. All right, now we're there for Brookins. So now let's go to the Mariners computer screen here, and we're going to bring in Harold Reynolds to pitch. If it'll let me do it. It may not let me do it. Looks like it's not going to let me do it. The computer will not let me take a position player that's already in the game and allow him to pitch. It'll let me take a guy from the bench. So we're going to have backup catcher Bob Kearney, I guess. We'll change this to Kearney because it's not going to let me do Reynolds. So that means shortstop Ramos never came into the game. So we're going to do Bob Kearney because the computer won't let me do it otherwise. So we'll make Kearney the guinea pig. Bring in Kearney to pitch. And it did allow that. So, okay. All right. So now we go through the top of the ninth inning. Single. Whale Wander. Pinch hit home run. Let's bring Whale Wander in. Give him the pinch hit home run. This is a wild and woolly ball game for sure. What a way to end the week here. Home run from Whale Wander. And then we get a Johnny Grubb pinch hitting for Madlock, and he doubles. So Grubb pinch hitting for Madlock. And Henneman still gets the chance to get that save. That's the amazing part. Gets a chance for the save. It says Bob Kearney's tired, but I don't care. We're going to wear his arm out like Jose Canseco. Fly ball to center, and then a walk to Trammell. Then another fly ball to center by Noakes. And then Sheridan grounds out to first. All right, so now to start the bottom of the ninth, I need to bring Whale Wander in to play second base. And now we're set. So we're all set for the bottom of the ninth. For the Tigers, 15 runs, 21 hits for the Tigers. For the Mariners, 0-6-0. So this is obviously the most lopsided game I think I've played this season. Or at least if it's not the one, it's one of the ones. It'll be Presley, Phelps, and Brantley due up. So here's Presley against Henneman, 2-7, struck him out. Losing peripheries here. I'll back it up one more just to be on the safe side. Okay. I think you can see most everything there. It'll back up further. I don't know if it'll let me do that. So let's raise it up over here, move it over just a slab so you can see. So you can see the 2-7 on Presley was in fact a strikeout. Brings up Ken Phelps. That's a 2-5, and that's a walk. Last thing Sparky wants is a walk. He's trying to get this game over with. Here's Mickey Brantley. 4-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Sheridan. He is a 2. 2-19, he'll get to that. E9, he has to avoid. On an E9, he has to avoid 11, 16, and 18. That is a 6, so that's no problem. Last out comes down to Ray Quinones. 5-8, and that's a strikeout to end the ball game. Henneman does collect the save. So Henneman will get that save for his 3 innings of work. So let's put this in the computer and wrap it up. And with the score being what it was, I didn't see any reason in worrying about a pinch hitter for Seattle at this point. I don't think it mattered. So we're going to the box score. put a wrap on this. Tigers get the win. They improved to 41-35. Seattle drops to 34-45. Robinson, the winner, now 5-3. Henneman does get his 5th save. He goes 3 innings, gives up 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So 15-21-0 for the Tigers, 0-6-0 for the Mariners. Of course, the player of the game, without question, is this guy right here, Matt Noakes. 3 home runs, plus a single to throw in for good measure. So Mike Henneman, your player of the game. And don't forget tonight, around 8:30ish or so, we'll have the last game from July 3rd. It'll be the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland Athletics. A primetime special on this July the 3rd, 1987, and July the 3rd, 2026. It'll be Jeff Sellers against Steve Ontiveros. It'll be game number 547. I've got them out of order here. This should be 547 coming up. But that'll be tonight, because what better way to celebrate July 4th than to have a Hot Dog Jackson game. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great afternoon, whatever you have planned. So tonight we've got the Red Sox and the Oakland A's around 8:30 to 9 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood. Tomorrow at noon is the NBC Game of the Week, 1979 season in Fall Classic Baseball. The Tigers and the Brewers play in that one. Tomorrow afternoon, roughly 3 o'clock or so, it'll be the final round of the Masters in History Maker Golf. And then tomorrow night, back at it will be the Colorado Rockies, as they're at home to take on the Washington Nationals in a quick 3-game series. So that'll be tomorrow night, roughly around 9 o'clock. Might be too hot to even be out and look at fireworks, so still a good time to stay cool and roll Strat, in my opinion. So happy 4th of July, Independence Day to everybody. Hope you are staying cool wherever you are. If you're going to be around fireworks or anything, be safe with those things. They can be dangerous. Better to leave those things to the professionals. And that's going to do it from here. So unfortunately, there was a blowout here, not just a tire blowout, but there's a blowout period, as the Tigers blew out the Mariners 15-0. But we got to see a 3-home run game from Matt Noakes, which doesn't happen all that often. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.